Overcoming laziness, the story of Jake and the mountain. Jake was like most people. He had dreams. He wanted to travel, write a novel, get fit, and perhaps even start a business. Yet, every time he tried to get started on one of these ambitions, he found himself stuck in the same cycle. He would start strong, full of enthusiasm and determination, but soon enough, he'd find himself back on the couch, watching TV, scrolling through social media, or simply procrastinating. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and his dreams remained just that, dreams. One cold winter morning, Jake found himself staring at a mountain. It was a place he had visited many times with friends and family, always from the comfort of the base, sipping hot cocoa and marveling at the view. The mountain, with its snow-capped peak, was both beautiful and intimidating. For years, Jake had promised himself that he would one day climb it. But every time, he found an excuse. It was too cold, he was too busy, he wasn't fit enough. But that morning was different. Something inside Jake snapped. He realized that his life was passing him by while he was busy being comfortable. The mountain was no longer just a mountain. It was a symbol of everything he had put off, every dream he had delayed because of laziness. He decided that day would be the day he would make a change. Jake packed a small backpack with essentials: water, a few snacks, a warm jacket, and some determination. The locals had told him that the climb wasn't too difficult if one was prepared, but it would take commitment and effort. As he started his ascent, Jake was filled with a mix of excitement and fear. The first few steps were easy, but soon enough, the path became steeper, and the cold air bit at his face. He was tempted to turn back, but he pushed on, driven by something deeper than just the desire to reach the summit. As he climbed, Jake began to reflect on his life. He thought about all the times he had given up too easily, all the projects he had abandoned halfway through, and all the opportunities he had let slip through his fingers. He realized that the real enemy was not the mountain, but his own mind. Laziness was not just a habit, it was a mindset, a way of avoiding discomfort and challenge. And like any mindset, it could be changed. The higher Jake climbed, the more difficult the journey became. The path was rocky, and at times it felt like he wasn't making any progress at all. But every time he considered stopping, he reminded himself why he was doing this. He wasn't just climbing a mountain. He was proving to himself that he could overcome laziness, that he could push through discomfort and achieve something worthwhile. As he neared the summit, Jake's legs were burning, and his breath came in ragged gasps. But he could see the peak now, just a little further. He pushed on, one step at a time, until finally he stood at the top. The view was breathtaking: snow-covered valleys, distant peaks, and the world stretched out before him in all its majesty. But more than the view, it was the sense of accomplishment that filled Jake with pride. He had done it. He had conquered the mountain, and in doing so, he had conquered his laziness. Standing there, Jake made a promise to himself. He would no longer let laziness control his life. He would take on challenges, push through discomfort, and pursue his dreams with the same determination that had brought him to the summit. He realized that laziness wasn't something that could be defeated once and for all. It was a daily battle, a choice that had to be made every morning. But it was a battle he was now prepared to fight. Jake's life began to change after that day. He started small, setting achievable goals and sticking to them. He wrote a page of his novel each day, no matter how uninspired he felt. He started exercising regularly, even on days when he didn't feel like it. He learned to recognize the excuses his mind would make and to push through them. And slowly but surely, he began to see results. His novel started to take shape, his body grew stronger, and his business ideas began to materialize. People around Jake started to notice the change. They asked him what his secret was, how he had managed to turn his life around. Jake would smile and tell them about the mountain, but he knew it wasn't really about the mountain. It was about the decision he had made that day, the decision to stop letting laziness rule his life and to start living with purpose and determination. Laziness, Jake realized, was like a mountain. It could seem insurmountable, intimidating, and impossible to overcome. But just like any mountain, it could be climbed, one step at a time. The journey might be tough, and there would be moments when turning back seemed like the easier option. But the view from the top, the sense of achievement, and the knowledge that you didn't give up, that made it all worthwhile. Jake's story is a reminder that laziness is not a permanent state. It's a habit, a mindset, and it can be changed. It's not about making huge changes overnight, but about taking small, consistent steps towards your goals. It's about recognizing the excuses, pushing through the discomfort, and choosing to live a life that's driven by purpose rather than comfort. So, when you find yourself staring at your own mountain, remember Jake's story. Lace up your boots, take that first step, and keep going. The summit is closer than you think.